Welcome back, Truth Seeker. We've been covering the ritualism with puppet Trump's tariffs that really served the agenda of 2030 and what the Jesuit who runs the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, said back in 2020, by 2030 you'll own nothing and be happy. Of course, that seems a bit exaggerated. But again, a big plan with Agenda 2030, which is a continuation of Agenda 21, is to reduce consumerism worldwide. And the people at the top want to maintain their wealth at the same time, the people who make these agendas. So tariffs are absolutely going to help with that agenda because it makes things a lot more expensive, thus unaffordable to a lot of people. So if you're new to what I'm talking about, there's been a lot of work done on the ritualism with puppet Trump. And realize you're listening to the voice of somebody who told you 4 years ago why they would reinstall Trump in the rigged selection, because every selection in America is rigged, something I've been consistent about since 2000. But I also said not only would they install Trump, they would bring down the economy in his first year back. And why? Because he is portraying Grover Cleveland, the only other split-term president who in his first year back in office, thus in his second term, his split term, there was a major economic downfall because of poor economic policy. And tariffs are definitely poor economic policy. The father of economics, Adam Smith, again, wrote the book, The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, the year this nation was born, about why tariffs should not be used and rarely implemented, except for in very special circumstances. Remember, Trump implemented his first tariffs as number 47 on February 1st, exactly 47 weeks from the anniversary of the publishing of Wealth of Nations on March 9th. Exactly 47 weeks. And it was also on the Pope's 47th day of his age, again, who represents the Roman Catholic Church, when this nation's capital is all Roman architecture, Roman fasces on the wall of the House of Representatives. But it was the 47th day of the Pope's age, 47 weeks from the anniversary, again, of the publishing of Wealth of Nations, the book that forbids tariffs. Did you know that this nation's first Tariff Act was published in 1789, shortly after Jesuit Georgetown was established, and it was passed on the 4th of July, 4th day of the 7th month? Look how perfect this is. As I've been explaining, all of this goes back to the Jesuits. James Madison, a major Jesuit agent, was instrumental in its passing. Remember, the Jesuits came out of suppression when James Madison was president, but the Tariff Act was passed before that in the time of George Washington. And again, look at this, you guys. From the day that Georgetown was established, January 23rd, 1789, to the day that this act passed was the 163rd day of Georgetown's existence. The Tariff Act of 1789 literally has a gematria value of 163. It was also the 133rd day of George Washington's age, and President, Government, White House, they all have that 133. It's like when the chump took the stage back in 2015 with the rest of the Republicans when they were going to pick the nominee. Forbes had up the stat that Trump was the 133rd richest man in the world. Told you that day it looked like they were putting in puppet chump, who's Jesuit educated, who went to Fordham. But yes, this act passed on the 4th of July, 4-7. And now all these 47 rituals with tariffs in the time of number 47. Just think about it. And by the way, look at the gematria of the Tariff Act. 54 and 72, just drop the of 1789 part. The Tariff Act is the main piece. 54 and 72, just like Jesuit order. That same year, 54-year-old John Carroll established Jesuit Georgetown. The Jesuit headquarters is the Church of the Jesu, Building 54. Right now, the big story is the U.S. has put 54% tariffs on China, and China has retaliated and put 54% tariffs back on us. And remember, in Gematria, trade war equates to 54. And with war and China and the Jesuits, never forget Sun Tzu's Art of War, a book made popular due to its translation by the Jesuit priest Father Amiot. The other thing that's interesting is, remember, when Trump's tariffs were put into place, it was the 47th day of the Pope being 88 years old. Trump equals 88. Adam Smith equals 88. George Washington also equals 88. Again, the Tariff Act was passed when George Washington was the president. This is a reminder of how long ago the Jesuits really did hijack this nation and take over its policies and government and legislation. And like I said, the Jesuits since the 16th century gave us the calendar that says, today I'm doing this video on April 5th, 2025. And they also standardized the English alphabet with its agreed to spellings at the same time the calendar was implemented. And they clearly put up a system where they used the dates and the language to perform their perfect rituals. And it's been this way for a long time. So again, just building on the evidence of what's actually going on. And it's sad that very few people want to entertain this conversation. And so many people just want to dismiss it and say stereotypical things like, oh, conspiracy theories. No, actually, the founders warned about Jesuits subverting the nation. Don't forget, Adams and Jefferson were the most outspoken, and they died together on the 4th of July. And remember, 47 is bigger than tariffs. Tariffs does equal 47 like Trump, but government equals 47, authority equals 47, Vatican 47, Republican 47, Democrat 47. The letters DC, just when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, are 47. So anyway, little history piece here. And shout out to the commenter who said, need to look more into the Tariff Act of 1789. You were right on the money. Until next time.